So, you want to be a real estate investor, but where do you start? How do you know what information and sources to trust? That's where I come in. I'm Jonny Cattani, and this is the Investor Relations Real Estate Podcast. Hey guys, real quick, before we start, go to investwithcattani.com and download my free ebook, Is Commercial Real Estate Recession Proof? Now to today's show. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Investor Relations Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Jonny Cattani, and welcome to episode number 1 of Friday Follow-Up. This is going to be a series that I do every Friday where I basically follow up on the week, update you guys on either what I've learned from guests this week or how things are going in my business, capital raises, different things like that. Basically, just a free form for me to honestly journal my journey, right? Essentially, to kind of introduce, my name's Jonny Cattani. I have been in commercial real estate now for almost 2 years, so barely brand new. Let's see, it's April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day. At this recording is April 1st. And in January, I started Cattani Capital Group. And the reason for that was I was with a firm last year. Shout out to Greenlight Equity Group. They're incredible people. Had no problems whatsoever with them, but really just realized that I wanted to do my own thing, and I had that opportunity and I took it. And first thing I want to do is really, obviously, if you guys are this far, hopefully you've listened to some episodes with guests. I'm so grateful for everyone who's been a guest thus far and who is already scheduled to be a guest in the future. I've had some incredible people on already. Yona Weiss, Gino Barbaro, huge names, Brian Burke, just some of the, Brian Ellis, really just some of the big names in the industry have been so gracious in coming on my podcast, which at this point hasn't even launched. Obviously, by the time you listen to this, it will have launched, but at this point it hasn't launched. We're slated to launch April 11th, and that is right on schedule. Also want to give a quick shout out to my assistant, Rose. You're incredible. She's been a huge driving factor behind scheduling all these people. So I'm very grateful, and huge shout out to my producer, April, for taking on the challenge of a daily podcast. So grateful. But really what I want to talk about today is mentorship. If a lot of you are just starting out or wanting to get into the industry, maybe you're still on a W-2 and maybe you have side hustle that's got a few residential rentals, or you've got some Airbnbs, and hopefully it's going great, and I'm sure it is. Really, if you're in the industry in any form or fashion, it's going very well right now. But if you're running into the issue of scalability and you're wanting to get into multifamily or commercial real estate, whether it be mobile home parks or hotels or self-storage, whatever it may be, I really want to talk about the importance of joining a mentor group and why it's so important. The reason that I'm even sitting here right now is because of the mentorship that I joined, the group that I joined, Raisemasters. Shout out to Raisemasters, to Hunter Thompson and Adam Carswell, both friends and mentors of mine, and I could not be more grateful for them and their encouragement. The reason that I bring this up is because without them, I wouldn't be sitting right here recording this. I wouldn't have the confidence to start a podcast, let alone a daily podcast, without them. So I really want to touch on why that's so important, because two main reasons. One, you have access to an incredible network of people. The thing that I love about this industry, and I talk almost every episode about, is how willing everyone is to help you. It's so incredible that people who have billion-dollar portfolios, meanwhile, I'm just about to start my first ever raise. These people have, billion-dollar portfolios, $500 million portfolios, $100 million portfolios. And they're coming on my podcast and letting me pick their brain, and we're having a conversation as if we've been friends for years. And I've never found another industry that's so willing to help you like this. I've been in the finance industry. I can tell you firsthand, that is not where they're going to help you. That is a very cutthroat, dog eat dog world. And listen, if you're into that, great, more power to you. It wasn't for me. I've been in the tech startup world and the tech sales world in software sales, and it's good. And don't get me wrong, your managers want to help you and they want you to succeed, but there's always just something that it feels like they're not quite, giving you. And certainly, mindset's a huge factor when you're in that. And I don't think I was in the right mindset for that. But I kind of, I guess, always knew in the back of my mind that it wasn't for me anyway. And that really, ultimately, I wanted to start my own business, which is why I started Cattani Capital Group. But that is a perfect segue into mentorship. I would not have started my own group if it wasn't for Raisemasters. And of course, Hunter and Thompson are Hunter and Adam, are the driving force behind that, but also the entire network of people in Raisemasters, all so willing to help, jump on calls, people who their phone never stops ringing, taking 30 minutes out of their day to let me ask the most basic questions and answer them. And, I'm, going to possibly be going out to the Midwest here in a couple of weeks to go do a property tour with one of them. And just being able to have access to that group and that encouragement. And that brings me to my next point, accountability. When you pay X amount of dollars, actually, let's back up. Let's think of ourselves like our own business, right? Not even if you have your own business, but think of you, yourself, your life as a business. When you invest in that business, you now have skin in the game. And by investing, X amount of dollars, don't get me wrong, they're expensive, depending, relatively speaking to what you're going to spend anywhere from 10 to 20 to, upwards of six figures for these groups. But, I was talking to Gino Barbaro, shout out to Gino. It's really about the value that you get, right? And the value is in, obviously, the network, the experts that are already part of the group that you can leverage their knowledge, help mitigate some of the risks of starting out because they've already made those mistakes, but really the accountability, right? I legitimately have an accountability group from Raisemasters where we meet every 2 weeks and we all set 3 goals that we want to accomplish by the next time we meet. And all of us are at different stages, more or less. And that allows us to get feedback, to, pick each other's brains, bounce ideas off each other. And what that does is makes you feel very comfortable because you're surrounded by like-minded people who not only want to succeed themselves and achieve their goals, but they want to help. They want you to as well. Everyone in my accountability group and everyone in Raisemasters, I want them to succeed, and I will do whatever I can to help them. If I have access to something that they need, it's no brainer. Give me a call. I'll help you. And that is so incredible to be surrounded by that, because all it does is push you to want to do more, right? So every 2 weeks we set 3 goals. Boom, I'm hitting those 3 goals because I can't wait to tell them that I hit those 3 goals, and I can't wait for them to tell me that they hit their goals. And then boom, we're on to our next goals. And the next thing you know, it's months down the line and you have achieved so much, all because that you have a group of people who are holding you accountable. And I don't mean accountable like they're going to shame you or put you down if you don't achieve something, because certainly there are goals that require us to, need other people, right? Let's say you're building a website or you're having some marketing material made, and so certainly there's a grace for, having to rely on someone else. But really it's about the fact that, that they're working their butts off to achieve their goals, which is pushing you to achieve your goals. It's so cliche to say that you're they say you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with, but man, how true is that? And I think the biggest, I don't want to say surprise, but one of the things I'm most grateful for about this is the five people that I now surround myself with are far and away achieving more than I am, and that just pushes me to want to work harder. And it's not I don't want to say it's not a competition, because I would be lying if I said I'm not competitive and don't want to, win in a sense. But when you win, everybody wins. And that's what's so incredible about these groups and why they're so, so, so important when you're just starting out. So many of my guests, at the beginning of every episode, if you guys have noticed, I love to hear the story of how my guests got into this business. And so many of them started out in residential in some form or fashion, right? Usually fix and flip, some buy and hold, wholesaling, obviously there's all kinds of different things. And so many of them told me that commercial real estate was that like big boys club, the good old boys club that you sort of graduate to cap and gown when you're, you've been doing it for 20 years and then you get the call to the big leagues, and it's finally your time. But that is so not true. You can be 18 years old and jump right into commercial real estate. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. And you've got to join a group, because they're going to show you how to do it the right way. And I've had guests who have said they never joined a group and they would be 10 years ahead if they had, because they chose to learn everything themselves. And listen, don't get me wrong, I was that way, but that's what kept me on the sidelines for so long. And now 8 months into a mentorship, and I'm got a daily podcast. I've got my own business. I'm getting ready to do my first capital raise. Like, more has happened in the last 8 months than in the previous 3 years in terms of propelling not only my career, but personally. The personal growth that you gain from being surrounded by like-minded individuals, people who want to build you up, is so incredible. It makes you want to be a better person, not just professionally, but personally as well. It makes me want to be a better partner to my girlfriend, a better friend to my, in my friendships. And I owe so much to it. And I really just, I'll get off the soapbox now, but I really just want to say, if you're thinking about getting into this industry or any industry, starting a business, you don't have to do it by yourself. I promise there's a group out there. If you can't afford a mentorship group, then start with a Facebook group, start with a local meetup. Be careful. Some of those, there is a bit of a get what you pay for. And if something's free, it may diminish the quality, but that doesn't mean that, you're not going to meet someone who isn't willing to help you, or, incredible partnerships have been formed from free meetup groups. Or, go the extra mile and start your own, right? And, strive for that quality and really, make sure you have that quality right from the start. And so in conclusion, I just want to say, thank you to Raisemasters. Thank you to the Raisemasters Network. All of you are incredible. Of course, another shout out to Hunter and Adam. Thank you guys so much. I owe you guys a ton. And thank you to the listeners. Thank you guys for even listening to this. I hope that I can bring, a ton of great quality and content to you guys so you can learn about this incredible industry. If you're already been in this industry forever, then hopefully, you're getting little bits and nuggets from these experts, that you maybe didn't know, or it's a good refresher. So I just want to say thank you so much for listening. And I'm very excited for the future. And, please, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. My contact info is on CattaniCapitalGroup.com. Please, we just launched our ebook, Is Commercial Real Estate Recession Proof? We're in some wacky economic times, and, it's a really good time to think about where to put your money so that it can grow despite these hard economic times. And there's some very compelling data points to why commercial real estate is a very, very incredible place to put that. There's all kinds of tax incentives when you get into this. Of course, who doesn't love passive income? If you want to continue to stay in your W-2, you can invest passively and get, what we like to call mailbox money. Get that, collect that money every quarter, and don't have to do anything but invest. And I want to help you guys get that. I want to help you understand how it works. So go to investwithcattani.com, download our ebook. You can even just go to the website. It pops up right there, and download the ebook. And again, thank you guys so much for listening. And I look forward to more episodes. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. Listen, I know it's cliche and you hear it all the time, but please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out. Even though this is technically a daily podcast, it's coming out the next day. We have a ton of content coming your way. So please like and subscribe. It helps a ton. Leave comments. Would love to know what you guys think. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks so much.